This is the Lotus Exige Series 2. Tiny, raw, and brutally direct. Welcome to RevvClub. In the next few minutes, we're going to strip down its performance, buying price, insurance, servicing, common faults, and realistic annual running costs for UK and US buyers. If you like driver-focused cars that prioritize weight over horsepower, listen up. Start with what makes the Exige special: lightweight engineering. The Series 2, produced in the mid-2000s to early 2010s, uses a Toyota-derived 1.8-liter supercharged four-cylinder in their S models. Power varies with tune and aftermarket mods, but expect roughly 220 to 250 brake horsepower in standard Exige S configuration. Because the car weighs around 900 to 1,000 kilograms, that power-to-weight ratio feels much quicker than the numbers alone suggest. 0 to 60 miles per hour is typically in the mid-4-second range, and top speed sits around 145 to 155 miles per hour, depending on gearing and aero. Fuel economy is one of the Exige's pleasant surprises compared with big GT cars. In mixed driving, expect somewhere around 25 to 35 miles per gallon in UK measures, or roughly 25 to 32 miles per gallon in US terms depending on condition and how hard you drive. If you're using the car for frequent track days, those numbers will drop significantly. Now the purchase price. The Exige S2 has mostly completed its depreciation cycle and values have settled. In the UK, you can typically find Exige S2 examples from around £25,000 to £45,000, depending on condition, mileage, and spec. In the US, the Exige is rarer, and imported examples usually sit in the range of $35,000 to $60,000. Again, depending on history and modifications. Well-kept low-mileage cars and factory-original examples command premiums, and for now, the price is only going in one direction. Insurance is generally more affordable than supercars, but the Exige's minimal safety equipment and limited passenger protection can increase premiums for some drivers. In the UK, a middle-aged, experienced driver will often pay around £1,000 to £3,000 per year for comprehensive cover. In the US, expect annual premiums roughly in the $1,000 to $4,000 range, depending on location, insurer, and declared use. Modifications, track use, and limited security options will push premiums higher. Servicing and maintenance are where Lotus ownership becomes interesting. Mechanically, the Exige borrows many reliable Toyota items, which helps keep basic costs down. Routine services at an independent specialist usually run from around £300 to £700 in the UK and roughly $400 to $900 in the US. That said, Lotus-specific items, bespoke suspension components, bespoke bodywork and trim, and any chassis repairs require specialist knowledge and can be pricier. Clutch replacements, after spirited use, typically cost between £700 and £1,500 in the UK and roughly $800 to $2,000 in the US. Suspension rebuilds, diff work, and uprated parts for track use can add £1,000 to £4,000 or dollars, depending on scope. Tires and brakes are consumables to watch. Despite the lightweight, performance tires still cost. Expect around £600 to £1,200 for a set in the UK depending on size and compound, and $700 to $1,500 in the US. Tire life varies. Gentle road use can see 8,000 to 12,000 miles. Spirited or track driving cuts that to a few thousand miles or less. Brake pads and discs are modest compared with supercars, but if you upgrade to track-capable or lightweight options, budget £600 to £2,000 for more advanced kits. Common faults and ownership pitfalls. Older Exige cars can show corrosion or stress cracks in fiberglass or bonded body panels, especially if they've been tracked hard. Wiring and electrical tidiness varies by car. Expect some owner wiring repairs on modified examples. Cooling can be a weak point under sustained high-load track use. Many owners upgrade radiators or oil coolers. Check the chassis for repairs and the body for poorly executed fiberglass work. Mechanical reliability is generally good thanks to the Toyota-sourced engine, but bespoke Lotus components and any previous racing history raise risk. Let's pull the numbers together into a realistic annual ownership example for a middle-aged owner using the car moderately. In the UK, a typical breakdown might be insurance around £1,800, fuel about £1,000, servicing and routine maintenance around £1,200, and tyres contingency about £1,000, giving a realistic yearly total near £5,000. In the US, insurance around $1,500 to $2,000, fuel around $1,200, servicing roughly $1,000 to $1,200, and tyres contingency around $1,000, putting a similar annual total near $4,000 to $5,000. Though import and registration costs can add to first-year ownership in the US. Buying tips before you sign: always request a full service history and check for documented chassis or crash repairs. Inspect the bodywork for fiberglass repairs and the underside for corrosion or stress cracks. Verify suspension bushes, steering rack condition, and any history of engine swaps or heavy modification. A pre-purchase inspection with a Lotus specialist will save you money in the long run. If you plan to track the car, budget for upgraded cooling, brakes, and tires from the start. Final verdict: the Exige S2 is one of the purest driver's cars you can own. It's affordable relative to high-end sports and supercars, light on fuel for the performance it delivers, and satisfying to drive. But don't underestimate specialist servicing and consumable costs, and only buy a car you've thoroughly checked. If you liked this breakdown, hit subscribe to RevvClub for more realistic ownership cost guides, and tell us in the comments which car we should cover next. Thanks for watching.